Okay, welcome to A Minorities Report. This is Joe Salcido. This is going to be our second episode. Today I have Michael Villanueva with us.
I like the pronunciation of the last
Michael
name.
Villanueva, owner and operator of MV Photography, focuses mainly on portraits and family pictures. He started that since 2018. He earned his Bachelor of Art.
Yep.
Emphasis on digital media, minor in language and culture.
Japanese language and culture, yep.
At UNR.
Yep.
Graduated in 2017. He's been serving in the praise and worship team for 17 years now. He was our praise and worship leader for 3 years. He also was our youth leader from 2018 to 2022. And then he has his own podcast show, which is titled 35 Millimeter to Life.
Yep.
Welcome, Mikey.
Hello, thanks for having me.
All right, Mikey.
We're getting to the nitty gritty now.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get to work here. So you have your business there, photography business. What do you like or what do you love most about that business?
Mostly it's just the interaction with people. The range that I work with is mostly seniors. So at
Seniors in high school.
college,
Right, okay.
both
Okay.
seniors. At the age I'm at now, like almost 30, in interacting with those different age brackets and age groups, it's kind of nice to see kids starting to grow up. An example would be your daughter. I've known her for her whole life, but
Yeah.
then I shot her senior portraits, but I've known her and I've seen her grow. I was
Right.
her youth leader at one point too, so
Right. And Zoe, too.
Yeah, and Zoe. So shooting their senior portraits has been special for me, and seeing that community too. And then normally when you get booked for like a senior in high school, you're gonna be their college photographer, then you're gonna be their
Like 4 years
possibly
later.
wedding photographer. You know,
Oh, wow.
you'll be their photographer for their life. So that's probably one of the main interests is the interaction with people. I mean,
Yeah.
I was super shy. It kind of broke me out of my shell too.
Yeah.
Just to be a portrait photographer and interacting with people. Your sister is a big one. I was her wedding photographer
Yeah.
back, I think 2019 or 2018.
She got married 2018, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then she was one of the motivators to get me into the business too and start spreading the word for me to do the business.
Yeah.
And then now I've been her photographer and now her daughter's photographer. So it's
know, right?
kind of a cool business to be in and see people's growth and different aspects of life just going in that realm.
Yeah.
I've explored through like landscape and everything else too, but portraits are like my bread and butter.
Yeah. You like that and you love that because I was trying to convince you many years ago to do real estate photography.
Right.
And you looked into it, but then
Yeah.
you really didn't catch your
There's like a
interest.
specific niche of photography that people want to get into, explore all the different realms, but I found mine in portrait and I felt like I excelled in that compared to like landscape or real estate.
Yeah.
And like when we were trying to do the real estate business one, there were so many requirements that I just didn't have at that time.
The equipment at that time, right?
Equipment at that time, it was like 2019 when you asked me to hop on with the real estate photography.
Yeah.
But I just never had the equipment to jump in fully on board at that time.
Yeah.
So with the equipment I had, it wasn't like a $5,000 setup with the best lens, and I didn't really know editing at that point. I was fresh out of college, and they were requiring so many things. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't jump ship on the real estate stuff, is because the requirements that they had, I just never met.
Okay.
I think I could do it now with the amount of experience that I have and understanding lighting and all that is with photography. But back then it was just like jump ship into something brand new and fresh that I just never had the knowledge of.
Plus, it's not really your.
It wasn't really my passion, right?
No.
So a lot of the photography that I do is more passion driven, not based off of income. Because I do have like a 9 to 5 job.
Mhm.
Like a lot of photographers do have a 9 to 5 plus the photography on the side. But I found that I can balance my 9 to 5 with portrait photography because I need certain times of day, and mostly it's in the mornings or weekends when people are free, afternoons after I get off of work. So I can actually do those portrait ones where, like, if I was real estate, it would be my whole livelihood
Yeah.
going into
yeah.
that business. So
Yeah.
this is like a side, and it keeps me passionate about
Correct.
photography.
Correct. Yeah. You kind of remind me of this guy who loves to play games, and then he was being hired to test the games. He turned it down because he said he's going to lose his
Right.
love or passion for
Right.
gaming.
Right.
So he just turned it down completely.
I mean, I think now is like a good time to get into that stuff because like governments are hiring for gaming
Yeah.
because of the drone stuff. But
Dude, yeah.
I mean, if you want it to be your passion or your hobby per se, you don't want it to be something you do constantly because then you'll start to burn out.
Yeah.
Burnout's a huge thing. I've experienced burnout in a lot of aspects, but with photography, I don't want that fire to die out. So I do say no to a lot of gigs if it just doesn't fit or clients don't mesh well with me. So
because you got busy, you get busy, you
Mhm.
get busy. I remember you saying whenever it's graduation season.
yeah, so March is a busy time, and October, November, somewhere around there. Those are the busy hours for photography as portrait photographers. But it's such a saturated market now. Like I feel everybody does it.
Yeah.
But
How do
I
you
mean,
get your business?
It's all word of mouth.
Word of mouth now.
So word of mouth is really big, and you don't have to carry like a portfolio, like pull it out of my back pocket and here's my photo book,
Like
right?
a big binder.
So I just have my Instagram account. I can have you guys scroll through it and double check if you like my work or not.
You get
but
people there at Instagram.
I've had a couple, yeah. But word of mouth is the big one. So if I shot with a graduate from Fallon, and her mom really liked my photos, so that mom told her friend. So then I shot his graduation photos.
Right.
So same with the university. If somebody knows me and they tell their friend about me, they'll reach out to me and we'll work together.
There you go.
So word of mouth is a big one for my business, at least.
Good.
Because it's just an oversaturated market. But there's people that do get their business through Instagram and they got a lot of followers. But a lot of us start with word of mouth. So if you pass it on to somebody, then they can reach out to me or vice versa. Like,
Right.
then the word just spreads. So if you know I'm a photographer, you can send people my way. And then if I can work with them, if I can't work with them, it's all about client personalities too.
When does it become for you, because it's your passion, you're passionate about it? When does it become work? Have you felt that, like, oh, should it's beginning to feel like work right now? Or what about it is because you're working, you're moving, you're busy, you're scheduling, it's taking your weekends, you're editing. But what about this business that differentiates it from your day-to-day job? You know what I mean?
Right. My day-to-day is pretty mundane. I go in and I come out. Like, you go in for 8 hours, you do the same tasks, and you come out. That's when I think photography feels like a job. When I go into editing and I don't even want to do it, I just copy-paste. Like, I'll edit a photo and I'll copy-paste it on the whole thing, and then it's just like, whatever. Like, that's when I feel like it's work, where I just want to get it over with instead of taking the time to meticulously pick out things that I need to edit out or tweak here and there, you know.
So the passion is in the creating?
The creating, yeah.
Okay.
So when anybody says like, oh, your camera takes such good photos, then that's when I just place the camera on the table and say, is it taking good photos? Like, because it's not the camera. Like, equipment plays a role, yes, but all of us have iPhones that can take great photos. So it's not the camera per se. It's the art behind it.
So that's where your passion is. Like
Yeah.
The end product
The end
of
product
your
of it.
editing, of your
Correct.
effort.
Right.
Yeah.
The back end stuff. So like the stuff that people don't see, and people are like, oh, turnaround times are just way too long. Like 6 months for 6,000 photos in a wedding gallery. That's just too long. Like
That's the most. What's the most photos you've edited?
edited in a session. So I do normally like 1 hour sessions.
Okay.
In a 1 hour, I can take 1,000 photos. And I think the most I've done is like 170 or 200 out of the 1,000. Yeah.
So that's out of 1,000, 10%.
Yeah. Most of the other stuff gets scrapped, which is crazy.
17%,
Like
yeah.
because the digital age just makes it really easy to just capture and snap
Yeah.
and then just delete it later. But recently I've grown into being more meticulous. So I don't get 1,000 photos in a session, but I only get like 400, and I'll get a profit of like 50% of those are good.
Okay.
But
Wow. That's a lot of work.
Mhm.
So, but you said the passion is because of the
Correct.
creating. You
Right.
get to be your creative self,
right.
because you play instruments.
Oh,
and, right. You play instruments.
about 10 different ones. Yeah.
You edit. You used to design our shirts here.
I still
You still do. Yeah.
That's what my so my degree is in graphic design.
Yeah.
Well, not graphic design per se, but it's in digital media, which is like designing, video, photography, all the creative stuff that requires a computer.
Right.
Done like 3D modeling and stuff. So
You were also. We forgot to mention that you were part of the media team before,
Yeah.
when you would edit the videos for
Yeah.
the messages, right?
I just
And then the camping.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's just really meticulous work. It's passionate work, but I don't know if people realize how much time and effort the back end takes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quick editing now, like Instagram has the reels and CapCut and everything.
I tried CapCut, and that was pretty tedious for me.
Right. And now it's like go into this, and like, yes, I'm here for editing purposes too. Like I'm here to help out
Right.
editing this podcast.
Right.
So-
He's our producer and editor.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like the cutting and making sure everything flows, like AI really can't do that. Like it can do some of it, but
he
it's
has that
not
Opus editing, that
Yeah.
Opus AI.
right. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. If you need a quick edit, fine. But that's where, as a creative, you lose the drive because now you're just relying on AI to do the work for you.
Right. Right.
So that's why I like when I listen to an hour-long podcast and I have to edit that podcast, it'll take me 3 to 4 hours because I'm cutting, I'm zooming in, I'm cutting out certain things, I'm adding, subtracting,
So would you say that the product of a podcast is mainly the editor has a lot to do with it? Because you kind of listen to it and then you edit it as you
Right.
interpret it?
I guess
or
it
not
depends on the podcast, on how it flows. So the personalities play a role. Like Joe Rogan plays a huge role on his because he has a big personality, and the guests he have are huge.
Really? Yeah.
So the edit won't really play a factor as much as people that don't have big personalities.
Right.
Like you need to get them to be interactive and whatnot. So there's some podcasts that are very bland, but the video product is really good.
Oh, because they have the graphics and the
Correct.
noise.
It's
and
an
then,
easier way to run. But podcasts
Oh.
are normally just listening platforms. They really turned it into video, though.
yeah.
So now it's really popular to do podcasts and video together.
Correct. Dude, in 2000, let's say 2007, it's either 7 or 8 when we started. When I was in real estate, I started
Mhm.
with my brother-in-law a vlog. They had no
There was
name
n-
for
yeah,
it yet.
It was vlogging.
We
Video-
Yeah, it was
video
a
logs.
video. It was web blog, so it was blogs website, and then somebody at the office before, or a former company I used to work for, they were, showing the blog thing, but then my brother-in-law and I said maybe we should shoot a video, and then upload it on YouTube. It ended up being called vlog.
Yeah. Video
log.
logs, yeah.
I'd say we were the first, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, it started. I think YouTube is 2005,
Really?
so you might be a little behind.
Yeah, maybe not then. Yeah. So we did upload it in there, and it was pretty new. It was pretty new. Our the girl that was pretty big at our office who was doing the blog, she was really, impressed with what it was like data. It's everything now that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else is doing. So yeah, it's funny how you said podcast it turned to become video, right?
Yeah,
And it's just
this is how trends are.
yeah.
That's like photography too. Like that's what keeps photography fresh, is trends change. So back in 2000, I think when Instagram first started, the photos that you would see are very clear, very overly colored. Like it was the weirdest thing. And now the trend in 2023 was blurry photos for your wedding photography. Like all these creative, not straight, very crooked angles. Like,
right.
And I'm curious to see where it goes from there. I mean, we're still kind of in the blurry film era. It's starting to drift back into more focused stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to where that realm shifts, especially in my line of work, because it's always going to be shifting and changing.
Is there no fear in the photography business of AI taking over?
Oh, there's huge fear.
There is?
Because now we can't really tell what's real or not. The big thing with AI is it's a tool. So it's a tool that can be used for good. Like for me, I use it for if I need to remove people. If something is distracting in the background and I need to remove it, AI is good to remove that. Instead of like me going into Photoshop and having to do all the technicals to remove that one.
Really?
AI just does it like instant.
Okay.
Like I can just click it and then deletes it.
Yeah.
The downside of it is we become so reliant on it that it like gets away from our work.
Yeah.
And
See,
it doesn't tell the story like we originally wanted it to. So like,
but it still needs you though.
it
Like
still needs
the business still needs a person. Like if
take
you
a
were at
photo,
my
yeah.
wedding, you'd be roaming around,
Oh yeah,
right? So
that's the one thing that AI won't take over is human interaction. So what a robot can't do that a human can do is feel the emotion of another person. So if I was shooting your wedding, if I was a robot, I won't understand the emotion that goes behind a wedding.
correct. Like in this speech, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's about to cry. You're like,
Yeah. The one thing that like a photographer wants to get is the husband crying. Groom. Why do I call
yeah,
husband?
the groom. Yeah,
The husband.
it works. I got you.
The groom crying,
Yeah.
and then the first kiss.
Oh,
I don't think a robot understands like the emotions that a guy feels when he sees his future wife walking down the aisle.
yeah.
Ladies, I'm single.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's right.
The look
Ready
that
to
you
mingle.
get.
You gotta finish it.
Just throw it out there, right? Throw it out into the world.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the joy of looking down the aisle and seeing your future wife walking up. A robot's not going to
I
understand
don't
that.
think so. Yeah, you're right.
But we have to understand as humans and the photographer to capture both moments. So I'm going to go to the groom, take photos of the groom, take photos of the bride walking by, and then so be it. And then when it gets to reception time, like I can be in the audience and I can interact with the people. I can talk, I can dance, I can laugh.
Right.
Robots are not. AI can't do that.
Right. Right.
So
Or if there's something that's happening at the moment that like the bride and the groom would want to remember,
right.
you're gonna capture it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I don't think AI will ever take over. You're always going to need a human photographer for any event, anything really.
I guess the other technical parts, it's an enhancement. I see it as a program. It's an additional program. Like when I went to school back in 2001, I did web designing.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, like it just took like a year.
Right.
There's no more need for, trying to do it on the notepad.
Right.
Because there's an app for it, or
Everything was there. Yeah.
there's a program for it already. Just put in the title here, and
Right.
then whatever design you want. It became so much easier.
Right.
You know.
That's why, like, as photographers, that tool is there as a tool, not as an essential. So it's like with any tool. As a musician too, like, we have all these chords, all these functions in our hands that you can always synthesize in a mixer, but you're never gonna get the real sound out when you're playing it. That feel, that tactile nature of photography. I'm really handsy. Like, holding a camera and pressing the button feels a lot better than doing it by itself.
Right.
Or when I hear music, I want to play it. I want to be tactile. I want to feel the instrument. Like, I don't think AI will ever take that over.
No, I don't.
So an enhancement.
There's a lot of movies though they're coming up with.
Oh yeah,
trying to scare you of AI.
Yeah, and I think, like, the business itself, photography as a whole, is trying to track down on what is AI and what is not. There's, I think, on Instagram you have to click, this is AI generated art. It's more so for, I think AI is more dangerous for, like, a drawer or a painter rather than a photographer, videographer.
Oh, okay.
Because you can fake so much with AI.
I remember in grade school, like, if you can't draw, the cheat code is you trace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you trace
Right.
the drawing on a very clear paper.
Now you just tell AI to do it for you.
Yeah.
That's probably how Elon Musk came up with the Cybertruck. Told AI, my son drew a car. Can you 3D model this car as a
I
real
see
car?
this. What did they say? I saw a video that had how it's a toaster. It's like a toaster in a picture, that they just flatten it and okay, we have a truck,
I mean, probably. It does have the lights is the top. I could see it.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, shoot, man, that's pretty good. That's a lot for your photography business there.
Yeah.
So we said when you started in 2018.
Yep.
What prompted you to do it?
I think it was the people. So, like, my cousin was a big one. Your sister was a big one. You are a big one.
Photography business, huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to get you into a business, whatever it was.
Yeah, and
graphic
it just happened
shirts.
to be.
Remember?
Yeah, it was
Coffee
anything
shop.
graphics, coffee shop. I'm still interested in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
It'd be so sick to have a Filipino coffee shop in town. But
We should, man. It's not over yet.
it's not over yet.
We got
It's
boba shops, Filipino boba shops.
Yeah, but that's
it's-
overdone. Can we do, like, hipster Filipino stuff? Have a Can we build it in the back of a jeepney?
My wife is friends with I forgot her name, but her business is in California.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a coffee shop, but it's also a bakery.
Okay.
It's a lot of purple yam. So the ube.
The ube is popular.
Dude, she was it was pretty big because when I was in Ventura, I visited one of the places. I should have known the
Right.
name. I didn't know it was gonna come up today, but yeah, you could still do it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can cook too. Maybe you
true.
should just open a restaurant.
I've learned from the best. Tell that story later.
Okay.
Save that for another episode of the podcast. But what prompted me is a lot of people just telling me to do it.
Okay.
And then it's just from there, it would be in my own hands just to even promote it or try to get it out there,
Mm-hmm.
It's
so it's
not
been doing good then.
Yeah, it's not my full time. A lot of people have told me that I can do it full time if I wanted to do it full time. It's just clientele and getting the business out there. It's not stable. So it's very sporadic. So, like, the seasons for weddings is always going to be summer. Not a lot of people are getting married. I mean, there's some people getting married in winter, but
I know somebody's gonna get married.
I know somebody getting married in winter. But spring and summer, fall are like the more of the peak seasons for weddings. That's the same with seniors. Would be spring and fall. The endings, and then winter is super dry.
So
and
maybe you
summer's
should
super
open
dry
up on
too.
something else during those seasons.
Right. So that's like getting a studio, doing gym sessions. You know, I like the gym workout stuff.
Oh, that's right. You do have some clients in that one.
Mm-hmm. So getting into that realm, doing bodybuilding, doing portrait stuff.
So you have models hiring you.
I've had some, yeah.
Okay.
So that's another realm to go into,
Yeah.
but it's sporadic, and I like stability. At this point in my life, I'm not at a point where just jump full ship and I'm, going with zero money.
We did. Yeah, you were thinking about going full time. Was that last year? 2 years.
A couple
ago?
times, yeah.
Yeah.
I always go back and forth in my brain about, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Do I have the clientele? You have to kind of play the pros and cons, and I always play the pros and cons
Yeah.
for literally everything.
Business is always, what do you call it? Unpredictable.
Right.
But that's for me. That's where the fun begins.
Right.
The challenge behind the chase.
What do you do to get back on your feet? Like
Yeah.
if business is slow, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna promote more? You're gonna
Correct.
just go up to people randomly, like, hey, do you need a photographer for whatever event? Like,
Yeah, because
There's
you
definitely-
do
definitely ways to do it.
advertising. You do your marketing. And
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of work, very challenging, for sure. But
yeah.
but I mean, you're thriving all these years
Mm-hmm.
just by. I mean, majority of my business too has always been word of mouth.
Yeah.
Referral.
I think that's the best way to do any business is
Yeah.
always get word of mouth. And then it's always building the connections with the correct people.
Yeah. It's
So-
easy pickings.
Oh, yeah.
If they fall in love with you, they're gonna tell everybody about you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's like once you find one photographer, you're going to be their photographer for almost guaranteed for life,
Right. Right.
because they know your style, they know your personality, they like you, and then they'll just hold on to that.
Have you done quinceañeras?
I've done debuts.
Okay, the Filipino market.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Because Quince is already occupied too.
You have a lot.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of
A lot of Hispanic
Reno photographers, that do those Quinces.
Yeah.
And they're good.
We have
there's a
Regina
group.
too, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, Regina.
There's groups that, like, there's little cliques within photography. I don't know if people see it, but there's, like, groups that edit a certain way that always do the same, that are always together. There's, like, those individuals that do it, or, there's little cliques.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've done debuts.
Yeah, Regina, this other photographer that I know, she focuses on babies
Yep, infants.
and
yeah.
then the pregnant mom. Yeah.
Those are good, too.
And some seniors shots too. I've seen her do it.
Yeah, I think with people,
So
it's-
that's another segment of your business, huh?
yeah, that's why it's like I did my cousin's baby bump photos, but this was back in when I was still a beginner.
So you call it baby bump?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What were you calling it? Just this?
Pregnant?
Baby bump photos.
Oh, okay.
So I've done a couple of those. Would I want to redo them? Heck yeah, because I was just a beginner.
Yeah.
And I feel like the product that I could have given them would be better now than I did before. But that's the cool thing about photography is you start at a point and then you just never end.
Yeah.
You just keep growing and growing. Your style changes, your editing changes, but you understand the technical even more.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you progress in time, right, you're just getting better.
Right. And then that's when your clientele starts to grow too, and you start to meet more people.
Right.
Once you get like that photo that hits, you're just gonna grow.
Right.
And that's when a lot of people jump ship from being 9 to 5 and a photographer to just being a photographer.
Right.
But I've seen the other way too, where people stop doing photography to pursue something else, and that's totally fine too. Like,
Yeah.
photography is one of those businesses that you can go here and there with.
Right. Right.
Like, photography is not thriving, I can just go into another business or
Right.
work at another job.
So I love looking at nice photos, just like everybody else. Maybe.
Nobody likes
but-
to look at a bad one.
But then when I'm taking them, there are times that I think I got a nice one, but then it turns out to be not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Who decides that? Who decides a nice photo versus a bad photo?
It's
Like
all
say
opinion.
a Tahoe
Yeah.
pic, right? Yeah, I've seen a lot of Lake Tahoe pic, the water, the rocks, right, and then a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the editing or is it the
A lot of it is back end stuff. So editing plays a role. When you shoot the photo plays a role. How the lighting is plays a role. What's the color of it plays a role. Composition plays a role. Like
is natural lighting better than like if you were to put
studio.
out studio lighting, or when
Um,
you edit it?
Just depends on what you want to do. A lot of it's personal. So if I say it's a bad photo, it might not necessarily be a bad photo to another person. They might think it's the greatest photo of all time. So opinions play a big role in photography. Like
But there are rules, right?
there are
'Cause
rules.
You'll be
There's
surprised. I went to a photography class in high school.
no way.
I totally did. I totally did, dude. But I didn't finish it. I dropped out.
Why? You could have been a
I
star
was in
photographer.
trouble, man. I was in trouble. But there are rules, right? Instead of zooming in the camera, the rule, one rule that I remember, I guess, the only rule I remember is like move in instead
You-
of zooming in.
That's
No?
here and there, yeah.
Okay.
You can, depending on what your lens is, and you don't want to crop into a certain photo because it loses quality. But here and there, there's rules like that. There's the rule of thirds. I mean, this is what I do for a lot of things, right? Learn the basics, then learn how to break it.
Mm.
So if I'm gonna learn an instrument, say I learn guitar, I'm gonna learn the basics of guitar. Once I know the basics, then I can understand how to bend those rules to make it sound better for me.
Right.
It might not be the best for somebody else, but it's working for me. But I understand.
Your foundation.
I have a foundation. If you can't build off of a firm foundation, there's nothing to rule break. Like I'm
it's not gonna
okay.
be stable.
Yeah, I'm okay to break a rule here and there. Like there's a thing called the rule of thirds where you want to put something in this quadrant, and you want it to flow pretty well. There's another term called the Fibonacci sequence. There's a lot of math that goes into photography
You
that
said
nobody
math,
knows
you
about.
lost me there.
Exactly. Dr. Iko talked about math a lot, I
He
think.
probably lost me too.
Probably.
I have to watch the episode now.
Yeah, there's a thing called the Fibonacci sequence that plays a key role in nature, and that's what a lot of photographers, or what the natural eye finds attractive. You can break these rules where you can not have it in the rule of thirds, or it's not going to be center frame. It's going to be a little bit off.
Yeah.
It's a little bit distracting to the eye, but if they're a well-known photographer, the edit works really well, you can break those rules. But you have to understand what rules you're breaking and the reason why behind it. You don't just break a rule to break a rule. There's a reason behind you breaking
Do
that
you
law.
have a photographer that you follow or that you admire, that you kind of emulate in your work?
I followed a lot. Peter McKinnon is a big YouTuber photographer. He took a whole year last year to just do film photography, and then he's applying that to his digital work.
Film. So he develops his own. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So he took a year just to slow down. Then he is emulating that into digital. But I've followed his work for a while. Brandon Wolfel, back in like 2018, 19, he was a big neon lights guy, but he's changed.
Wow.
Julie Trotty, she's a Australian photographer that does portraits. She's really good, soft skin, everything. North Borders, if you want more car photography, video stuff.
Do you have a Filipino American that you follow, that you admire his work or her work?
Atola Visuals, she's a filmmaker.
What's her
and
name?
her Instagram and YouTube handles Atola Visuals. I think I'm saying that
Okay,
right.
okay,
But she's a half Filipino photographer
okay.
that does like video and product review and photography and stuff. So
Okay.
I've found her work really good.
Yeah.
But not a lot of Filipinos.
When I was seeing, remember Dax?
Mm-hmm.
Dax Victorino?
He blew up.
He did, but I don't know if he's still doing photography or just video editing now.
Mm-hmm.
He did some editing for me when he was starting out in my real estate business. But that was mostly like video editing.
Right.
And he did some stuff for us. But He focuses on wedding, doesn't he?
He's wedding and then video stuff,
Video, not photography.
not photography.
Right.
I'm more of the photo side.
Yeah.
I can do video. I'd rather do photography
Mm-hmm.
through and through,
Yeah.
just because it's less time consuming for me. I found
Right.
it easier, and and it's funner to tell. Funner is not even a word. I don't know why I used it. It's more fun.
In the Philippines.
Yeah. It's more fun to tell a story through one image than to have it laid out for you. Because in it's harder to tell a story in one image. So if I took a photo of something, that image has to tell a story by itself. Where if I took a video of that same thing, the video already tells you and you have no opinion. So
You're just receiving it.
receiving it. Yeah. That's the thing about like Tahoe. So if 10 photographers went out and shot the same photo of Lake Tahoe, everything's going to be different in the end value. But maybe depending on the edit could tell a different story.
Right.
So one could be a little bit cooler tone and say it's a little bit more relaxing. One's a little bit warmer and it's like December. They just change the color tone a little bit. It just tells a different story, you know?
But then also the camera or the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is for the consumer side. Could be a stupid question for the photographer.
No, there's no stupid questions.
The bigger or the more expensive the camera, the better the camera?
It's because the build qualities are better, but it's not necessarily better. You can have a $5,000 rig, but if you don't know how to use it, it's meaningless.
Correct.
Like, say we both play guitar. I've been trying to teach you to play guitar.
I don't know, man.
You play
right
guitar
next to you. I don't play the guitar.
At a worship level standpoint, yes, you play guitar. You only need 4 chords for worship music. It's great.
Oh, hey, thank you, Mikey, for my listeners.
Hey,
for
G,
my viewers
E minor,
there.
C, and D, perfect. The chords you need.
Yeah, I have so many songs with those chords.
Right. Every song in the world
can
has those
transition
4
to
chords.
one more song.
Right? Where was I going with this? What was I talking about?
Equipment.
Equipment.
If it not because it's expensive.
Right. If I'm going to give you a $5,000 Taylor guitar, but you're playing the same chords, you're not going to get the benefit out of it.
Correct.
But if you gave that same guitar to B.B. King or John Mayer, they're going to get value out of that thing. They're going to make that sound beautiful.
Correct. And for the consumer, we probably didn't even know that you were playing with a very expensive and premier guitar.
So the thing is to like, so we all have these things, iPhones, whatever phone you guys have. This is a perfect starting tool for you to use in photography. If you ever want to get into the business, use what you have. This is a perfect tool. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you don't want to spend $5,000 into something that you will likely not use in the future. Yeah. Same with like a guitar. Same with if you ever ride bikes, you're gonna spend on a $5,000 mountain bike, but you only go once a season. Like it's not worth it.
Right. It's like those guys who play basketball, but they're mediocre at best. But then they have like the LBJs.
They got the best
the
shoes in
latest
the world.
gear, and
they roll up. They put on the sleeves, the shooting sleeves.
Yeah. In the Philippines, we call them Bormang court. They look like they're dressed for the basketball court, but their game's really not there. Right. So I think it's the same.
Same.
Do you have a pet peeve when you see guys like? Because when I was in the Philippines, it was a long time ago, 2009 till 2010 of January. Everybody would go to the bar with their lens hanging on their.
They just want a big ego. It's an ego boost.
Because that's a lot of money, right? Like a big lens like that is telling people, it's communicating like
rich.
I got money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which I took my camera to work today because I needed to show. Wow, that's a really fancy camera. But I'm like, I put my time and effort into this. That's why the growth is there. That's why I have it. But I'm not recommending you start with this if you're ever going to do it. Right. That's one of my pet peeves is like
signature.
Signature, yeah. Like if you think it's like photography is about your gear, then that's the wrong mindset.
Good.
Gear helps. Gear helps. Like
It's like with everything.
With everything, gear helps.
Yeah.
But it's not the end all be all.
With in the proper hands.
In the proper hands,
then
it's
they
great.
can maximize, like BB King with the guitar, right?
Yeah, it's a chef with the right equipment, right tools to do the job.
Yes. You reminded me of my cousin, my girl cousin, who was in it was chili cook-off is what they called it. It was an American base in Baguio City.
Yeah.
And she had a question. The question was, what would you rather have, a great chef or the best spices in the world? And I think, man, I think I was 11 and she was 10 around that time, or maybe 11 and 12. Man, I heard her answer really made her win the award, because her answer was, I would rather take the chef, because if you don't know how to cook, even though you have the best spices in the world, you'll come up with nothing. But then if you have the best chef with a few ingredients and spices, they can make a great dish with it.
Great, yeah.
And she got a round of applause. I heard, because I wasn't invited. You never
salty.
You never invited me. I'm gonna send her that link.
12. How many years later?
I never forgot. I forgive, but I never forget.
Yeah, hard to do.
But you're right, dude. So even in photography, I mean, I guess it's common sense for people, but
for anybody that wants to get started, use what you have, and then if you want to invest into something, start on the lower end.
So you
build up.
Build up. Okay, which is the proper way to go.
Unless you're really like, I want to do this for real.
Or like a natural.
Yeah.
Is there a natural?
I think they have the photo eye, but you still have to learn the technicals. So like, you can have the eye for photography, but learn the basics. Like, you have to learn what everything does, all the functionality of a photography, all the functionality of a camera. There's a thing called the exposure triangle that everybody should know as a starting photography. You wouldn't know, but you're not a photographer.
No, I'm not.
So I'm not gonna.
I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
like
I'm not gonna blow your brain out with
print this. I liked what Mikey did there.
Right. So yeah, I'm not like, in the proper hands. It's a great tool.
Good.
So
I
don't
agree.
invest if you're not like fully into it, but if you're gonna jump ship, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you from, if you have all the money to buy it.
Why not? Right?
Why not? But if you're just starting and you don't have that much equipment, don't look at my gear and judge your work off of what I have.
Right.
Because you can probably do the same with an iPhone.
Yeah. I've just
won't
been
be the
working on
same.
my iPhone. That's all. And then I keep it to myself.
Right. I mean, you can show me. I'll be a harsh critic. You know how I am as a critic. I'm not easy. I'm very blunt.
Correct. So since this is a minorities report, again, the purpose of this podcast is to provide a platform for Filipino Americans or Asian Americans and whoever else that we will bring here who we believe is a minority.
Right.
It could be a female businesswoman, or it could be a Hispanic businessman or businesswoman. You know, we'll just bring them in, so that they can hopefully encourage others who are trying to maybe contemplating of getting into a business, just kind of like where you were.
Yeah.
In your talk there earlier, or those who are struggling. Yeah, like, oh shoot, man, I started a photography business and I'm struggling. You know, so there you are. If they're listening to you, or if they're thinking about it, you're already talking about gear and stuff.
Right.
That's good. What's the first? Let's do this. Do you know of a brand that is acceptable starting gear for anybody who's thinking about maybe starting a business in photography?
I'm a Sony boy, so Sony is my go-to for anything. I started with the Sony A6000.
Flash it right there.
Don't make me edit stuff in the podcast. Should have just brought it. I could have put it right there.
Sponsor. Put the sponsor in there. Like my Shasta grape drink. Go ahead, Sony.
Or brisk iced tea.
Show your
Kirkland.
brisk iced tea.
Kirkland water. Sponsor us, Costco. I need your eggs. Sony A6000 goes for about $400
Really?
on the market.
Sony,
That's what I started with.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you build from there. If you want to go Canon Rebel TI, T3i, T5i.
Dude, I remember that because of Agassi, because I
Yeah.
think he was the one.
The Costco deals
Advertising
are
that.
great. Costco deals for cameras are great. So
Really?
look
Okay,
at
that's
those
the
Costco
spot?
deals.
Okay.
Yeah. Best Buy has deals. Look at aftermarket stuff on Marketplace. Just get your hands on something you want. I have a strong bias against Nikon. Nothing against them, but I just don't like
Pretty
Nikon.
strong. Why? The
Quality
quality?
build.
What, it breaks easy?
It doesn't break. I think it's the build of it. The color tones that are built into the camera aren't as good as like a Canon. Low light performance is not as good as a Sony. The sensors and autofocusing are not as fast as a Sony. Canon's known for their color, so you're never going to beat Canon in color.
So Sony and Canon.
Those are the ones I
Start.
would go. You can probably go into Fujifilm or Olympus, but those are a little bit more advanced. They're not as user-friendly. The big three are going to be Sony, Nikon, and Canon.
But you don't like Nikon.
I don't, personally, but people do like Nikon. There's people that shoot Nikon and are great.
Yeah. Well, they have to be good already.
No, you
No?
can still shoot with a basic Nikon camera.
Okay.
There's just a strong photography. I think it's the community itself doesn't really mess with Nikon. We say it's the potato camera of the camera world.
Really?
Yeah.
Note to self, don't buy Nikon.
You can still buy Nikon. I'm just not going to be friends with you.
I heard this from a guy, right? I was in a party and everybody had their SLRs, right?
Old
SLRs,
school ones,
you
yeah.
know. And then one dude was shooting a picture and then he adjusted the
Mhm.
lens this way. And he goes, dude, you're making it obvious that you're a newbie. You got to adjust it from the bottom. You got to do it this way. Is that a thing?
No,
'Cause
because
you-
I do like this.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, you got to go from the bottom.
That's more noob than this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
I
I was
don't
just
do
like, I was
this.
just like listening to this. I'm like, oh my gosh, so I can
I actually
what?
do this. I do it this way.
really.
So if I'm holding the camera, this is me zooming in and out. I don't really do this. Hurts my wrist.
Oh.
I do like this.
Oh, okay.
So the guy, it's like, apparently it's a Hawaiian thing. You know they're not local if they throw the shaka like this. Sabra.
What's the local? Just this? That's local.
Well,
Oh, this here is local, right?
It doesn't matter. It's just not so hard. Saw, dude. Saw.
Man, yeah. When I was in Hawaii 2 years ago,
They called you brother.
They thought I was local.
That's good.
That's when I knew I needed to go back to the gym.
They big boys.
They
They're
were
big boys out there.
there.
You were
I
like,
fit it in.
I'm 220 pounds. I can make it out here.
Yeah.
But in Reno, you got to slim down.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love Hawaii though. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to start, just use what you have, and then go from there. Even ask. You can rent equipment at your local camera shop. Start renting. Start
But then there's a lot of that you have to be ready to edit too. Okay, so camera and then editing. What would be any computer, any laptop?
something that can handle. So I'm Apple. I'm also an Apple bias.
Okay.
But you can use Windows. I've worked on Windows computers too. They work the same. Just something with enough processing power to process photos. And then you start messing around. You won't know your style until you edit and do it yourself. Auto will be your friend for a little bit, but then you have to go into adjusting yourself and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work.
Like the focus.
All the
said auto?
sliders. So there's like a bunch of sliders that go through editing. Each slider does a little bit to a photo.
Oh, okay.
And it's just micro adjustments at that point. But you can just click the auto button and it'll do it for you. But that's just like a starting point.
Okay. Cool, Mikey. Sure. Hopefully, whoever has been contemplating of doing it,
Right.
you know.
I encourage anybody to get into photography. And the goal for my podcast with at a 35 millimeter to life is we want your photography to be better than ours.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage you guys to just go and shoot and get out there and be involved. And we want yours to be better than what ours are. Like, we just want you to grow and be better.
Right. That's
but
good.
don't be humble about it too. You don't have to, like, I am better than you. No, don't do that. We just want you to grow and have fun with it.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's if they wanted to start, obviously, start with a camera, start with the gear. Sony, Nikon,
Canon.
Those
Those are the big three. You can go into Fujifilm. You can go into Olympus. You can go into Lumix. Plenty of options. Just go with your price point. Go into a camera shop. Ask them questions. Give them your price range. They'll show you the ropes on where you need to go. If you want to do video, photography, if you want to do landscapes, portrait, low light,
And
real
then
estate.
do what you did. Start with the people they know.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Cool. Maybe do it for free for the first few.
Yeah, there's
To
like
get your name out there.
there's a structure. So normally, if you're working with models, if you're a beginning photographer, you most likely will pay a really high-end model to work with you.
So you pay the model.
Yeah, because they're well known. You're not well known. So it's more of
Oh.
that. That's the business side of it too. Like, if you're just starting and you're wanting to get with a really renowned model who's like known in the business, you're going to have to pay them and work with their schedule.
Oh.
Now, the more you grow, the more that becomes,
Then the models
like
will want to, the starting models.
Right.
Are like, hey, Mikey.
or it's going to be a trade-off. Like, you guys are doing it just for exposure's purposes. So if a model's starting to get in the business and you're just now getting into the business, it's a trade-off. So
Cool.
you're going to get exposure, I'll get exposure.
Nice.
Now, if there's like a model that's new and I'm an experienced photographer, the model's probably going to be paying you and vice versa. So it's all workaround.
That's cool. That's great, Mikey. How about, so in that business, Mikey,
Mhm.
being a minority, is there like, have you experienced, or is there a bias being you a minority? Have you experienced racism there somehow? Did you get a rejection?
Not so much.
Or you walked in, you're like, what? Never mind.
No, not so much. It comes down to personality a lot of the time. If your personality is good, you're personable, easy to talk to, and then your work speaks for it, then you're good.
Great. That's good.
So not really. I mean, I probably wouldn't get booked for a quince because there's a lot of Hispanics that'll do those. But I'll get booked for a debut because I'm Filipino.
Correct.
So there's little things like that too. Like,
So it's more about because
culturally. Yeah.
culture. Okay.
So like if there's a person getting married that's a Filipino, I'd be down to shoot their wedding. But I think weddings is okay for anybody to do. That's not really a race given thing. It's a talent thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that. But maybe because maybe there's also a language barrier, maybe.
Can be. So if they're like, can I say that term? Fresh off the boat, fob.
Yeah.
I guess I can say it. I
It's
don't
a
think
show.
racist.
Come on.
If they're fob and they're fresh off the boat, they would probably want a Filipino who can speak it,
Correct.
photographer, right? Because the language barrier, they can communicate better. They can tell them exactly what they want. Now, I can't do that because I'm Filipino American, born and raised here. I don't know the language, but I can get along with anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's scenario driven, I think.
So with the Filipinos, do they always ask for a discount? Of course,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of given.
It's a given, right?
The given that
And they haggle
hey, can
the
I get a
price.
discount. Yeah, just part of our
Hey,
culture.
Mikey, I know your mom.
Or they'll oh, you're a Villanueva? Me too. Or I know a Villanueva. Like, they always try to find a way to get the price lowered, but the business side, I have to be strict on it.
Okay.
I think I've grown enough in the business to where it's not a lot of free work.
Yeah.
So I'll be charging mostly. I will do favors here and there, but it's not like a given for me anymore because then I do have a business that runs it too.
Correct.
So I do say no to gigs that people are just like, can you just do this for free? I'm like, no, because why? This stuff pays for my bills too. Like my 9 to 5 pays for my bills, but this also helps with extra income.
I mean, the equipment costs money.
Right.
And then your time, right? Your gas.
Yep.
Right?
Driving out to a place,
Yeah.
So if a Filipino family asks me for a discount, maybe the first shoot, maybe I'll do a discount.
If it's a big family, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it's a 20% discount on the first shoot. And then after that, it's going to be full price. So expecting freebies, not anymore. Once you grow in the business, maybe starting off, like I said, you're starting off, you're just trying to get your feet wet in the business. And then you hit a certain point where nothing's going to be free anymore.
Right.
So I had to ask my podcast host too. We had a family reunion. If he would shoot our family reunion, but he told me straight, like, hey, I don't just do free stuff, even for friends, even for family. I don't do free stuff. Like then those are the hard conversations. Like, you wouldn't do this for family for free. I'm like, no, because it's actually like work.
It's what you do for a living.
It's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's why it's like, those are the hard conversations, right? If they're family, if they're close friends, if
they're the hardest clients.
They're the hardest clients.
Family are the hardest clients.
Do you work with I know you work with family on real estate stuff, but is that hard, like super hard?
So majority of my dad's family is in California.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do a lot of free counseling with them.
Makes sense.
On random times, you know.
California.
And then you better be right, bro. Because if you're wrong, they're gonna tell everybody.
Right,
you know,
right.
Judge had said this, and it wasn't their thing. You know,
Right.
But they are the hardest
Clients
or customers to have. You know.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, it's our culture is pretty tough on that.
Yeah, we're very bargainy and
we haggle our prices, like,
which I'm okay with. Like,
ask Mikey, he's free.
But I'm not free. I know. I shot free for a while, but I'm not free anymore, guys. It's a lot of work. So, yeah, that's one of the things with our culture is we're really haggly, and if you do it one time, they expect it every time. Things change.
But your race or your heritage as a Filipino does not hurt your business when you walk into when a client who's a Caucasian meets you. You know,
I haven't felt that.
Okay, never felt that,
which is good.
Good.
Which is good because I've met. It's all about work. So if your work is good, hopefully your personality backs that up as well. Because if you're working with people, personality is a big thing.
Great. Good.
And that's fine.
And you also said that you probably won't get hired for a quinceañera, but you are probably likely to be hired
for a debut.
A debut.
Correct.
So the race part kind of plays in with those specialties.
Specialties, yeah.
Right? Those are
because I think you'd rather, as a Hispanic, you probably know more about a quince than I do.
Correct.
And you guys don't know exactly what a debut is.
Correct.
So
correct.
There's similar.
The moments, right? The moments.
Yeah, they're similar, but they're different. Like we have the 18 roses, we have the 18 candles, we have the dances, we have.
They probably have the 15
entourage.
Roses.
They might. I don't know. I've never been to a quince.
I've been there. I just know
really they dance a lot and eat, which is great
they
because
drink
I'm the same.
Their culture, the
Similar.
Hispanic culture, is so much like the Filipino culture.
Yeah,
that's why I love Mexico too.
Yeah,
you know, when I would go on vacations there.
Yeah,
love it.
But it never really played. The race card was never played to me, or
that's good.
I've
Mikey.
never had
even in high school, right? You were saying
even in high school, I
never really experienced that.
No, because I was born and raised here.
So you think it was your accent that kind of protected you from this whole thing?
Probably a little bit. I never got made fun of for it. Very American.
Very American, yeah.
But growing up here, born and raised, I had a very mixed group of friends. Like we were very diverse in nature. We had Japanese, we had white, we had Filipino.
What year was this? Your high school? What was the
2009 to 2013?
Good.
So even before that, so going back to middle school, elementary school, 2004 till 2013. So like almost my whole grade schooling, never experienced that because we were so diverse.
Your
as a mixed
group of friends were pretty diverse.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
So my best friend was Salvadorian. My other best friend was white. Like, and then the fourth person in our group was Japanese mix.
Yeah.
And a couple Filipinos thrown here and there. But it was like we all got along. We all just wanted to play games and hang out. And race never really played a role.
You were in Clayton and McQueen.
Maybe Tolles, Clayton, and McQueen. Yeah.
Yeah. So the population of Filipinos during that time in your school was, did you pass a dozen? More than a dozen people?
We were way past a dozen.
Yeah, during my time in Reno High in 94,
small.
7.
Oh yeah, we were
7
way
Filipinos,
past that.
man.
I think we had 7 Filipinos just in marching band. So I was good there.
So it's pretty good. So I love hearing that as time progressed, because that is what America is. It is a bunch of
It's
people,
a
melting pot, right? And
Right.
we just, I love how it continues to improve. It's not perfect, right?
Right.
No, nothing. No country is, I don't think.
Yeah,
right?
the cool thing about like how I grew up, it was all skills based. Same with like the business that I have, it's skills based and not people really judging you on color. Maybe one-offs here and there, but I did taekwondo, I did baseball. It was always
the black
based on
belt in
your skills.
taekwondo. We forgot to
Yeah,
mention
like
that.
at 10 years old. See, I guess I still have it.
Is Mark
technically.
Cancino still open?
Oh, yeah.
ATA?
Oh yeah,
Maybe we should contact him. Maybe bring him over here.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So baseball, it was mixed diversity group. It was all based on skill. Didn't matter if you were like white or Filipino. If you were good at baseball, you were good at baseball. Same with taekwondo. If you were a black belt, you were just good at taekwondo.
Yeah, you speak taekwondo, you speak baseball,
Right.
basically.
And then I did band, I did music. To get first chair, you just need to be good. It's not about race.
Yeah.
Like all our first chairs growing up were different races.
So you were never bullied.
Never really bullied. I
That's
got
good.
along with most people.
That's good,
Even at
Mikey.
work, I was never bullied. Got along with most people. So
Well, at your work, there's more Filipinos, I think.
the whole facility is Filipinos. The whole place is Filipino, bro.
It's reverse racism there.
Oh yeah, big time. The odd man out is the white boy. Call him the token.
At least you understand it, right? You know
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
talking trash.
Now I understand it now. Yeah. But I never really experienced it. Like
No, it's good.
from my childhood even to the business now, I never really experienced it.
That's good.
It's always just a work-based effort thing. And I think it's different when you're born and raised in America versus coming from the Philippines to America.
yeah.
So that's going to be, as we do the podcast more and we get more guests, it'll be cool to hear when somebody from the Philippines moved here and grew their business and their perspective on it, because
Correct.
being Filipino born and raised in America, I identify more as an American than I do with my Filipino side. Yes, I have the Filipino heritage and nationality, but I'm American born and raised.
Correct.
But
Yeah,
that doesn't stop me from being Filipino.
Still very much Filipino.
Very much
you know.
Filipino.
But this is why you're perfect to be a part of this, dude. Because it's, you get you're millennial, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
You
not
get-
claiming the other one. Millennial.
I'm Gen X, so proud to be Gen X, So during my time is different.
Oh, yeah.
94 was, a student at Reno High said, like, what are you? Would you go back to Mexico? And we were getting into a fight. Me and Jelmer, remember Jelmer?
Yeah.
Me and Jelmer got into a fight, and this guy was telling me to go. This white kid was telling me to go back to Mexico. And I couldn't really fight with my words during that time. I don't know if I can still do it. If I can now, I don't think I can still. Because when you get angry, you just like stop.
It's different. Yeah.
You start stuttering.
Because we were relying on AI too much.
Yeah.
Chat GPT,
Yeah.
what do I say in this argument?
I can't. I had nothing for him. This was my comeback, Mikey. I'm not Mexican.
State the truth.
Dude, that was like, because even though my Tagalog was translating to English, still, it was like processing. So it was weak. It was a weak comeback, but
Yeah.
that's all I had for him. But I mean, they didn't know what a Filipino was.
Right.
You know, this is '94. So I moved here December 1993. Stayed a little bit in the Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved over here because my pops was here. And but you know, I'm glad to hear that it evolved so fast. Like in 2004, a Filipino kid that was born here didn't experience anything. And you said the community was pretty diverse because it did grow. Reno has grown tremendously from. Did I remember for me to play basketball was either Arlington at the park, or I go to Sparks YMCA, or Reno YMCA, and then Alps. There's 4 basketball places to go to. This was pre-cell phones. You can't text anybody like, "Are you guys there?" Yeah, meet up there. We just try to look for games. But now it's like traffic is horrendous, and
Oh yeah.
prices to go out and eat. Before, if we go out and eat for like appetizer, drinks, and 2 meals, it's what,
30
$15? $15?
Well, for me, 30.
Less than 20?
Yeah, less than 20 for sure back
less
then.
than 20? Now it's $40.
Oh yeah.
20.
Easy.
Water, that's with water.
No drink.
No soda. Don't order soda.
It's just too expensive.
That's another $5.
Right.
But yeah, it's grown, and I like hearing that. But you're right, dude. Like we had Dr. Eco last week, right? And he said in the medical field, he didn't say skill, right? He just says no. He never experienced it.
Yeah.
He says we have to work together, right? So it was never. I guess I'm glad to hear that because
it's not like a one-up thing. Like I am better than you, know.
Imagine a racist doctor.
Like, never work with anybody. Who does he work with?
You walk in, you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now."
But you're like dying on the medical bed. Like, come on.
I guess they won't say that because they'll get in trouble. Probably. But I'm glad to hear all of these different scenarios. And
oh yeah, I mean there were cliques like the Filipinos didn't hang out with the Filipinos, but they also had like mixed Asians. Like there was an Asian group for sure.
McQueen.
Yeah, I wasn't associated with them because I was such a marching band nerd that I was always with the marching band kids.
Was there a Filipino gang during your time?
No, not that I know of.
We had 2 during mine. You were what?
I was just a good kid. So
I think we had 2 during my time here in town.
Yeah,
it was Flipside and then IBP.
I think those were still around during my time.
During your time,
I heard the names, but never was associated with any of that. Because I'm telling you, my friend group was so mixed that it never gave me the time to explore those.
Yeah, you made me think about my high school friends when you were saying yours. I'm like, oh man, I wonder where Patel is now. Because I had an Indian friend. He had the car and he loved basketball. Him and I would play 1-on-1 at Arlington until he had to move to Texas. And I was like, dude, yeah, man, I have a friend. His name's Patel. I met another Indian guy, and his last name's Patel. I go, dude, you know this guy? And he goes, bro, we're all Patels. That's going to be really hard. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the majority of their last name is Patel.
They own everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, so growing up, my friend group, and this is like a big, like 4th grade, I can remember like our friend group. So me, Filipino, my best friend, like we were all technically best friends, but 6 of us. So me, Filipino, one guy was Salvadorian, one guy was white, one guy was Indian, one guy was Japanese half, and I think there was another white guy or a Mexican too, Mexican white. So like we were never experiencing that because we all just got along with whatever our hobbies were. Did you want to play tetherball? You want to play football? You want to play all these sports? That's what we did.
Right.
There was no time to think about what color of your skin was or what that even meant.
Yeah.
I think right now that's where the system went to. It's implanted in their brains that I have to think about what color of my skin is when I go to school.
Correct.
When I was going to school, it was what's the score in tetherball? What's the record between me and my best friend right now?
Right.
So who has the better record? Are you beating me or am I beating you? What game are we playing today? Are we playing flag football? Or are we playing wiffle ball? It was never anything crazy.
So I saw this video where it says racism isn't isn't innate. It's taught because they showed a video of a black kid and then a white kid both running to see each other, and then they hug one another and they just held each other's hand and they start walking. And there was nothing about color there. It's like what you're saying, nothing about color or race there. It's just about, you want to play tetherball because you whooped my butt last night.
Time, yeah.
I'm gonna get you the back today, right? So it's about that, right? Yeah. So it's the community, whether it's coming from the family or the community,
outside sources behind it, yeah.
Right. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's still some racist people out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there are, I mean, I've experienced it here and there. But a friend of mine that I used to work with, a colleague of mine, said, "I'm sorry about that guy, Joe, but I hope you know that there's a lot of people like us that are not thinking that way,
right,
or feel about you that way." And it's true. You know, you have to actually, if once you become a victim of that event, you have to really train your mind to say or to think that that's an error,
right,
a marginal error, you know, a statistical error. Yeah. Because see, with you, that's 94 till 2004 in McQueen.
Yeah.
Many years later, there's no such thing anymore, and there's more Filipinos, more diverse community. But maybe I'm thinking it's the same at Reno High, because I was at Reno High, you were at McQueen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the Filipino community alone here in Reno, Sparks has grown. Before, it's like, you want to meet all the Filipinos in town, go to one party.
Right, right.
But you see everybody.
Even still now, like the Filipino community here, like I feel like everybody knows everybody.
Well, shoot, Mikey. All right, let's end this with an advice. Do you have any advice for, anybody there that's thinking about maybe starting a business, or if they're in the business that you are in and they're facing a challenge or a setback,
right.
how would you help them from your experience?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. You're not alone. It's a community. For photography, it's a community. So if you need help on the business side, just reach out to a photographer that you can trust. Don't hold it to yourself like, I can't do this. You can. You can definitely ask for help, ask for advice, ask for direction.
Did you when you were starting?
Oh, yeah.
Out? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. And I have people telling me, like, what else to do, too. Like, if I ever have to go full-time in this business, what do I have to do? What are the next steps? So
that's good.
There's people that are there to help you. And my co-host on my other podcast is always saying, like, if you need anything, just let me know. And I think those are the easiest things to do. Like, if you ever need something, just let somebody know.
Right.
There's people around you to help anywhere.
Right.
You just have to find those right people. So my advice is just ask. If you're afraid, just ask around. Ask their opinion. Ask for their advice.
What would make somebody afraid? Somebody who's starting out.
One of the things
would be
is
daunting for them?
Stability. If you don't have the money build up from another job and you're just jumping into this cold turkey thinking you'll make millions of dollars, maybe you might be one of the lucky ones, but most likely
the
than
right
not,
client,
right? You get the one client that books you for $1 million and you do a photo shoot for them. Yeah, great. But more likely than not, you're not going to have that clientele yet. But just don't be afraid to explore and do it. Just going into it and testing out the waters. There's always with the creative fields, you can always go into another job without experience. Warehouses are where a lot of people thrive. Fast food, service industry. Like, I know if people don't want to do that, but that's where you'll maybe get a stable income for you to start out. And then if your photography business starts to ramp up and you don't have time to do your other job, that might be your call to just, hey, I'm going to go full
So
time.
like a side business first, like a side gig.
Yeah. Start small, get your friends involved, get people you love involved, and then they can do word of mouth and be like, hey, my friend's a beginner photographer. Could you please help them out? As for me, like, somebody that's experienced it, coming with me on a shoot and being a second shooter, that's perfect.
That's good for experience.
A good experience. Okay. Like, if I was to shoot a wedding, I'd always need a second shooter to get moments that I don't capture. And that's just experience for you.
Or like just the necessary thing, but they probably don't need your expertise, right? Where, you know, when they go around the table, like, oh, here, shoot us here.
Right. Like all the fun little ones that like the bride wants, like going around the table and taking pictures with all the guests.
Yeah.
Sure, that's a second shooter job. And
that's
then I'll
a
do
good
the main
experience.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good experience. Like, I'll still do second shooter gigs if I need to.
Oh, okay.
If they're available or if somebody needs it, I'll still do it. I don't need to be the main guy. But it's just good experience and exposure to work with other photographers. So get to know people around your community. Get to reach out to them, ask for help.
Yeah, be humble to ask for help.
Be humble to ask for help too. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to be the best photographer, because you're not.
Right.
I'm never going to be the best photographer in my business. I could be eventually in the future. Somebody might think I'm the best, but there's always growth. And it's so easy now. If you need help, just DM a photographer. Hey, how'd you get into this business?
You can find them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing research too. Like, take time to research it. Yeah. Business plan, everything, you know.
Well, going through for the experience part, you had a lot of experience with the church.
Mm-hmm.
How does our faith help you navigate through challenges in your business?
I just know I will always be provided for, even if I'm slow or even if I don't know what to do. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you, is one I always sit on to.
Yeah.
So if I'm always relaying to God plans and, God, I give this business up to you. This is for you. This is what I'm going to do with it. But if it's not your will, it's fine.
So it affects you, Mikey? Because the business is like somehow not your main thing right now, but it affects you when you're slow. It does bother you. Like, oh man, I don't have any bookings this weekend, type of thing.
It doesn't bother me in the sense like I'm worried about finances, because I have my stable job.
Right.
If I was like just full-time photographer, I didn't have a stable job and I had no clientele, that's when I'd be worried. Yeah. But God told us to not worry.
Right.
Not worrying anything but through prayer and supplication.
That's right.
With thanksgiving.
Present your
request to God. So those are the things that give us rest as Christians in the business. We can always go back to God provides. God will always give us what we need, not what we want, what the necessities are. We'll always have food, shelter, and clothing. And if we can live with that, then it's all good.
Right.
So,
and then the one of the principles or teachings of Christianity is humility. Mm-hmm. That helps you to kind of ask for help, right?
Yeah. So if
I'm pretty sure you probably struggle too. Like, oh man, I think I can do this.
Right. There's always a pride aspect of it because it's my work. Mm-hmm. But you kind of have to give that up if you're needing advice on something. Humility plays a huge role. You can't be prideful in this business because that ego boost doesn't translate well to clientele. Yeah. Nobody likes to shoot with a really prideful person. I wouldn't
or
think
unfriendly one, like
unfriendly one.
Hey, stop making that grin.
I had an interaction with a photographer because I was just with friends. I was shooting a graduation shoot on the quad, and there was a professional with a step stool, lighting, everything came over. Hey, I just need to use this area for 5 minutes. Then you can take it back. But she was super rude about it. Ooh. So I wouldn't want to work with that photographer. I'd want to work with somebody that's playful and
relaxed.
Correct. can make me feel good during my
Because it's
moments.
a moment, right? I mean, people pay you good money for their engagement photos,
Yeah.
and that's hard-earned money. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
But
I
yeah.
heard, yeah.
That humility to ask for advice is huge, because to do it on your own, you can, but why? Why spend the time to? I mean, if you really want to deep dive into the research it takes to run a business by yourself without any help from others, I think any business book will tell you, like, go get some help. Ask
Talk
for
to
help.
somebody who's
Talk to
already
somebody
done it.
that knows it. Yeah.
Take them to lunch, take them to dinner. You know,
Yeah, you wanna pick their brains.
Maximize order the appetizer, order the dessert is what they say.
Right.
Because you want to pick their brains.
Right. So pick
Yeah.
the brains of the people that have done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
So, and then just don't be afraid. I mean, God told us not to be afraid.
So is that those things are your faith played a huge factor in really just diving into the business?
Some way, yeah. A lot of it plays reliance on God and making sure that everything is done correctly. And if I ever have to travel to somewhere, of course, I have to pray for protection.
Yeah.
I meet strangers a lot of the time. I've never met them ever. Like, if I'm working with them for the first time, when I meet them in person, that's the first time I'm ever meeting them. So protection as we first meet, because some people just can't be trusted.
Dude, you can't be too
laxed about your clientele.
A lot of crazy people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you go in your deep prayer before you, Lord, I hope this person is who he says he is.
Right. No catfishing here, please.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah, faith does play a huge role into how the business runs, and even being discerning of what to take and what not to take. Because there's a lot of yes people. And then let your yes be yes. Like, that's a huge one. So if I say yes that I'm going to do it, I need to follow through with that yes.
Even if it becomes inconvenient.
Even if it becomes inconvenient.
Yeah.
There are moments where you have to reschedule, but you have to make sure that yes is firm and that you can follow through with that. And that's why I've learned to say no to a lot of stuff too, because sometimes I just don't have the time to.
Right.
And it's a loss of business, but that's why the stability is good with my other job.
Right.
Now, if I said no to this and I had a backup plan with another gig and I was good on my business side, I can balance all that work out. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But
sure, Mikey,
on that.
You've done so much work. You continue to do so much more for the church, with all the skills that God has given you. That's why you're really close to my heart, man. And I know when I was called to become the pastor of the church that you and I were going to, I don't know if you really had the choice at that time. I think you did, because you had the car. You were already driving.
I had it out.
Yeah, you could have left, right?
I could have.
Yeah, but you've been there with me from the very beginning, and I'm so glad that your photography business has been thriving all these years, and our faith is guiding you through it, and that you're open to helping other people. And I love that the community is open to help other aspiring photographers out there.
Yeah,
There are
the one-offs that are like kind of.
There's always going to be.
There's always going to be those, but
always that one.
Majority of the community, 90% of the community, will always be nice to help you and give you advice on stuff on what to do next. And so, if you need like advice on lenses, on cameras, on bodies, on anything, the photo community will always help you out. They won't just turn their back on you. So.
That's good. Nothing when they find out you're a Christian, does that affect their decision against you too?
No.
Good. That's good. Because being a Christian now is a minority now too.
Yeah, unless it's like something same sex in that realm. Sometimes I can get a little iffy.
Oh yeah. I could.
You can say no to those people. And remember the baker that had a big thing. So any business and you're run by a Christian, there's a lot of attack with that.
Oh, that's when they start. Yeah, they start saying like, I don't think this is gonna work.
Right.
They'll tell you that. Wow.
So those are kind of the hits and misses, but God will always protect you from what's bad.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's you have the right to refuse service, right?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's see, it's pretty cool. I know that we've had you as the church photographer by default when you start when you picked it up. So I'm glad.
Kind of true, yeah.
Isn't that the case though? Like your experience kind of started with the family, your
Oh, yeah.
family, the church family.
Yeah.
right?
Doing like Mother's Day shoots, baptism shoots, camping,
Yeah. Yeah.
all that stuff.
And then you would edit
Stamped
it,
off
you would
of it,
play with
yeah.
it, right? So
People just don't understand the back end of it, and it takes forever. But
right. So now
that's
you
okay.
like on the professional level now, so it's pretty cool. I like it, Mikey.
yeah.
Well, I think that should. Do you have
Wrap it
anything
up.
else you want? You have anything else you want to add to the aspiring photographer that could be listening?
Just go do it.
Let's do it.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
I like
Nike.
that. I like it. I like it. All right, Mikey.
All right.
That wraps it up for us. Thank you very much for listening and
Thanks for
for
having me.
watching.
I'll be around.
Thank you, Mikey.
I'll be behind the camera actually.
Yeah,
next
I'll
episode.
see you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I'll see you. All right. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.